You're at a party. You say something. Maybe it's a joke that doesn't land. Maybe you called your teacher mom in front of the whole class. Maybe you tripped walking into a restaurant and 17 strangers watched you catch yourself on a table. And then it happens. Your face gets hot. Your cheeks go red. Your voice does something weird. You laugh, but nothing is funny. And somewhere in your brain, a tiny voice says, "Please, let me disappear." Here's what's strange about that moment. You didn't choose any of it. You couldn't stop it if you tried. Your body just took over. And the worst part? The harder you try to stop blushing, the worse it gets. So what is actually happening inside you? Why does your body betray you the moment you need it most? And why, out of every single emotion humans feel, is embarrassment the one that shows up on your face for everyone to see? The answer is weirder than you think. Let's start with the blush. Imagine you could control every single thing your body does. Your heart rate, your breathing, your sweat. With practice, people can actually regulate a lot of those. Monks can slow their heartbeats. Actors can cry on command. Athletes can calm their nerves with breathing techniques. But blushing? Nobody can fake it, and nobody can stop it. Darwin, the evolution guy, natural selection, origin of species, spent years studying human expressions. And out of everything he observed, blushing broke his brain a little. He called it the most peculiar and most human of all expressions. Not laughing, not crying, blushing. Because every other animal on Earth doesn't do it. Not even primates. Blushing is a completely human thing. Now watch what happens when you get embarrassed. Your brain detects a social threat. Someone's watching you. You made a mistake in public. Attention is suddenly on you in a bad way. And it sends a signal. Not to your muscles, not to your logical thinking brain, to your face. Specifically, a chemical called adrenaline floods your system. Your blood vessels widen, and the capillaries in your cheeks, which are uniquely close to the surface of your skin, fill with blood. Fast. That's the red. That's the heat. And it's completely automatic. Happens in seconds. The part of your brain that controls it doesn't check in with the part that can reason. It just goes. But why? Why would evolution build something like this? Here's where it gets interesting. Imagine you're a human, ancient, prehistoric, living in a small tribe. You do something wrong. You accidentally take someone else's food. You violate a social rule you didn't know existed. The group sees. Now you have two choices. You can pretend nothing happened, or you can signal that you know, that you're not a threat, that you're aware of the mistake. The blush is that signal. It says, "I know. I'm not trying to deceive you. I get it." And here's the crazy thing. It works. Studies on this are actually fascinating. People who blush after making a mistake are rated as more trustworthy, more likable, more forgiving. A person who blushes when caught doing something wrong is seen as genuinely remorseful. Someone who doesn't blush at all? Creepy. Suspicious. Your body is basically waving a white flag on your behalf, even when you didn't ask it to. But blushing is just one weird thing. Let's talk about the laugh. You're at a funeral, or a serious moment. Someone says something they shouldn't have, or nothing at all. It's just quiet and heavy, and you feel it rising. That terrible, inappropriate urge to laugh. You try to stop it. You press your lips together. You look at the floor. You think about sad things. And sometimes, it escapes anyway. This is called nervous laughter, or inappropriate laughter. And it happens for a really specific reason that has nothing to do with something being funny. Think about what laughter actually does to your body. It releases tension. It floods you with a tiny hit of dopamine. It's a pressure valve. And when you're in a socially stressful situation, embarrassed, nervous, uncomfortable, your nervous system builds up tension fast. The laugh is the release. It's not humor. It's your body trying to regulate itself. And the worst timing doesn't make it worse by accident. It makes it worse because the social pressure of not laughing adds to the tension, which needs to escape, which makes you laugh harder. Your body is trying to help you, in the least helpful way possible. Now here's the one that doesn't get talked about enough. The voice crack. Most people think voice cracking is just a puberty thing. Teenagers, changing hormones, your voice dropping an octave mid-sentence. When nervous, But that's not the whole story. when embarrassed, when the pressure is suddenly on, your vocal cords are controlled by tiny muscles. And those muscles, like every other muscle in your body, are affected by adrenaline and cortisol, the stress hormones. Under pressure, those muscles tighten unpredictably. The airflow changes, and your voice, the one you've been using perfectly fine your whole life, suddenly does a thing. It cracks, or it goes weirdly high, or it drops to almost nothing. You've probably had a moment where you were trying to say something confident and your voice just didn't cooperate. That's not weakness. That's literally the same hormonal response that makes your heart pound before a presentation. Your voice is just caught in the crossfire. And then there's the thing nobody talks about, the urge to disappear. It's not just a feeling. Something physically happens when you're embarrassed. People actually get smaller, literally. Shoulders come in, head drops, body curves forward. Some people cover their face, some cross their arms, some just fold. And here's the part that's almost poetic in a terrible way. That response, that physical shrinking, is called a submissive posture. And we share it with every social animal on Earth. When dogs feel threatened or ashamed, they get low. Tails down, ears flat, eyes averted. When chimps are reprimanded by a dominant member of their group, they make themselves small. You, standing in the middle of a party after mispronouncing a word in front of everyone, doing the exact same thing as a dog who chewed through the couch. Your brain is so convinced you're in a social threat situation that it pulls from a survival playbook millions of years old. Make yourself small, don't threaten, wait for the moment to pass. Now here's where it gets actually wild. All of these things, the blushing, the laughing, the voice crack, the shrinking, they're worse when you notice them happening. This is called the spotlight effect, and it's one of the most documented quirks in all of psychology. Imagine this. You spill something on your shirt at work. You walk around all day feeling like everyone is staring at that stain, like a spotlight is following you around the room. But at the end of the day, if you asked every person you passed, most of them didn't notice, or noticed for half a second and moved on. We dramatically overestimate how much other people are watching us. Our brains treat our own embarrassing moments as though they're being broadcast in high definition to a live audience. But here's the double trap. Because you're convinced everyone is watching, you get more self-conscious, which makes you blush harder, which makes you laugh when you shouldn't, which makes your voice crack, which makes you shrink. Your embarrassment is making your embarrassment worse, in real time. It's a feedback loop. Your brain detects social danger, fires off a bunch of involuntary responses. You notice those responses. Your brain detects that as more social danger, fires off more responses. And now you're bright red, laughing at nothing, voice barely working, standing slightly hunched in the middle of a situation that probably nobody else is thinking about. So what do you do with all this? There's one thing that actually helps. Not a breathing trick, not a mantra, something structural. The more embarrassed you are by your embarrassment, the worse it gets. The people who recover fastest from embarrassing moments are the ones who name it out loud, who laugh at themselves, genuinely, not out of panic, and move on. Researchers call this self-distancing, putting a small mental gap between you and the moment so you can see it clearly instead of drowning in it. The fastest way out of a blush isn't to fight it, it's to acknowledge it. Say, "Yeah, I know, my face is on fire right now," and watch how fast the room relaxes. Because your blush was already doing the job, signaling that you know, that you're not a threat, that you're in on the joke. You weren't betraying yourself, you were communicating. Darwin was right. Blushing is the most human thing we do. Because it's the thing we do when we care, about what other people think, about the group, about our place in the room. The fact that your body hijacks itself in that moment isn't a flaw. It's the proof that you actually give a damn. And honestly, the people who never blush, never laugh at the wrong time, never let their voice crack under pressure, they're not tougher than you. They're just less honest.